Hello class, this is your test review for chapter 8. Okay, the first few problems are all about geometric mean. It's been a little bit, but not too long since we've done this, so let's take a little bit of a refresher. To find geometric mean, you put one number over x equals x over the other number. And then you just cross multiply. 3 times 27 equals 81. And x times x equals x squared. So we have x squared equals 81. We square root both sides, and we get x equals 9. So our first answer is 9. Same thing over here for 4 and 49. We have 4 over x equals x over 49. We cross multiply. We get x squared equals 196. We square root both of them, and we get x equals 14. Pretty easy. We're still using geometric mean for numbers 3 and 4. Okay. When we want to find the altitude, we just use simple geometric mean. We use the two parts. So we'll have 5 over x equals x over 20. We cross multiply. We get x squared equals 100. When we square root both of them, we get x equals 10. Okay, so let me write this up here. This is 14, and this is 10. However, when we're looking for the side of a triangle, okay, this is the side. We're going to use the part next to it, and then the whole hypotenuse. That's 18 plus 6, which is 24. So when we use these two numbers to set it up, we're going to have x over 6 equals 24 over x. Cross multiply again. We get x squared equals 24 times 6, which is 144. Square root it, and that's going to give us x equals 12. Okay, there's numbers 1 through 4. Next page. Okay, or sorry, going down some. Now we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, and our two legs of our right triangle are a and b. So I have 8 squared plus 15 squared is going to equal my hypotenuse squared. This gives me 64 plus 225 equals c squared. Those two added together equal 289. And to find c, we square root. We will get 17 equals c. This is 17. And number 6, we do much the same way, except this time we have the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 13. Let me see if I can make this page a little bit smaller. Yikes, okay. So anyway, we have the hypotenuse, and because we have the hypotenuse, we're going to do the hypotenuse squared minus the leg squared is going to equal the other leg squared. 13 squared is 169, minus 12 squared is 144. That's going to equal a squared. 169 minus 144 is 25, equals a squared. So when we square root it, a is going to equal 5. Which one of these could be the sides of a right triangle? Well, you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, and you're going to add up the first two, and it has to equal the second one squared. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144. And 15 squared is 225. If they equal, it is a right triangle. And it just so happens that 81 plus 144 equals 225. So we have a right triangle. So A is one of our answers. However, we got to try the other ones. 2 squared plus 3 squared has to equal 4 squared. That's 4 plus 9, which equals 13. 4 squared is 16. They do not equal, so that is not a right triangle. Over here, 10 squared plus 24 squared plus 26 squared. This is 100 plus 576, and 26 squared happens to equal 676. So these two together do happen to equal that, so this is also a right triangle. And finally, 8 squared plus 10 squared has to equal 12 squared. 8 squared is 64, 10 squared is 100. They have to equal 144. This actually equals 164, which does not equal 144. So that is not a right triangle. Okay, and I'm going to do 8 and 10 together. Both of these are 45, 45, 90. Okay, I've got 145 here. This is 45, which means these two sides are equal. So if this is a 9 here, this is also a 9. And this other side here is going to be whatever the leg is times the square root of 2. So I have 9 times the square root of 2. 9 times the square root of 2. Down here at number 10, this side is 12. And because these two are equal, this side is 12. And this side is going to be whatever the leg is times the square root of 2. So I have 12 and 12 times the square root of 2. Please remember that. Okay, switching over to a different triangle. This is now the 30, 60, 90 triangle, which means whatever my small side is, and that's always across from my 30, so this is 3, I take that number and multiply it by 2 to get my hypotenuse. So my hypotenuse is 6. Alright, my hypotenuse is 6. To get the other side, I take whatever my small side is, and I multiply it by the square root of 3. So this is 3 times the square root of 3. Same thing down here. If this is the 60-degree angle, this is the 30-degree angle, which makes this the small side. I do not know the small side, but I know it's going to be half of the hypotenuse. So I take 26, divide it by 2, and I get 13. So x is 13. And then my other leg is going to be whatever my small side is, times the square root of 3. So this is 13 times the square root of 3. Okay, please study this and try and remember this for your test.